iris has two types of muscle fibers. These are circular muscle fibers around the pupil, and these are radial or longitudinal fibers in the outer part. So in the inner part you have the circular muscle fibers, in the outer part you have longitudinal or radial fibers. Okay, let me write it down. This is the dimension here. This is the radial fibers, also called longitudinal fibers, and these are circular round fibers. Okay, and this is the pupil. Now, the function of the iris is regulating the size of the pupil. Regulating what? Size of the pupil. Now you tell me, all of you know, if I put flashlight, plenty of light on your eye, your pupil will get what? Small. Very good. Constriction, right? And at night, when you are looking for something in small amount of light, pupil should get big. It will try to take as much light it can, right? So you can see better. So in bright light condition, the pupil constrict, and the small light condition, pupil dilate. Now you tell me, if the circular muscle fibers contract, the size will get smaller or bigger?
Smaller.
Smaller, makes sense? Circular. Contraction of circular muscle will make the pupil smaller. Constriction, makes sense? Now, how the pupil gets dilated, bigger? Circular muscle fibers relax. Now these fibers are relaxed, and these muscles contract. These muscle fibers contract. So now you think, this is the circular, okay, relaxed, and you are pulling from all different directions by contraction of the radial muscle fibers. Make sense? Like you are pulling from different directions. So that will cause what? Dilation. Make sense? So that's how the constriction and dilatation of the pupil occurs. Parasympathetic stimulation. You remember autonomic nervous system has sympathetic and what? Parasympathetic. Now, if I do like this, pat you. It's very comfortable, right? Like, and you don't like. Some people don't like. If you do this like your pet, your cat, you'll see the eye. The people will get constricted. Okay? So parasympathetic, like comfortable, right? You're in comfortable condition. So your people will constrict. You are scared, sympathetic stimulation, okay? You are nervous, that will dilate the pupil. Okay? So that's the action of sympathetic and parasympathetic. You see, strong sympathetic stimulation will dilate the pupil a lot, and strong parasympathetic will constrict the pupil. So that's the response. Bright light will constrict. Okay, small amount of light will dilate. Okay. The retina has two layers. Outer layer is called the pigmented layer, and inner layer is called the neural layer. Just know that pigmented layer contains a pigment that is called opsin. And vitamin A is important for the synthesis of that pigment. And vitamin A deficiency will cause lack of that pigment. Okay? That pigment absorbs the light, and that's why it is the pigmented layer because of the presence of pigment. And neural layer of retina has the photoreceptor rods, cones, and few other different types of cells. So here you see this is the retina, okay, and the pigmented layer is the outer layer, this one, very thin. And then neural layer has the rods and cones and other cells too. So now you see more clearly here. This is the pigmented layer. These are the pigments. Okay, absorbs the light, and this is the neural layer, where you have the rods and these are cones. Yellow ones are cones because they look like cone shaped, and these are like bars, rods. So these are the rods. And other cells, if I ask you what are the other cells present in the retina, beside rods and cones, you have bipolar cells, horizontal cells, amacrine cells, and ganglion cells. Make sure you know all these names. Photoreceptors are rods and cones, of course, those are very important. And you have other cells, bipolar cells, horizontal cells, amacrine cells, and ganglion cells. So, from rods and cones, you see the picture, from rods and cones, these cells, bipolar cells, are taking the signal to the ganglion cells. And these are the cells that form the optic nerve. How? These are actually neuron type cells. So this is dendrite, brings the signal in, and this is axon, takes the signal out. All these axons of these ganglion cells bundle together to form the optic nerve. So optic nerve is basically the axons of the ganglion cells. So let me draw here. These are the ganglion cells, okay? The axons of all these ganglion cells get together like this and form the optic nerve. So this is optic nerve, which is cranial nerve number 2. Cranial nerve number 2. And that is the nerve that takes the picture from your retina to the brain. Okay? Someone has to take the picture out from the retina to take it to the brain. So that's the optic nerve. Okay? Okay, cataract. Cataract is a clinical condition in which the lens becomes cloudy, cloudiness of the lens. Normally lens should be what? Cloudy or not? Clear, very good. Transparent, right? Extremely transparent. Lens even doesn't have any blood vessel, nerves, because if lens has blood vessels and nerves, then the light will not be able to pass through it, right? Will be blocked. That's why retina has no blood vessels, no nerves. Make sense? Very transparent, clear. But sometimes some factors can cause the lens cloudy, and that is called cataract. What can cause cataract? One is, of course, age. When you get older, naturally the lens may get cloudy. Number one. Number two, diabetes mellitus. Diabetic patients get more cataract. Number three, smoking, UV radiation, too much exposure to UV radiation. So those are the risk factors, okay, that can induce cataract. So what did I say? How many factors?
4.
Yeah. What are those?
Age.
Yeah.
Diabetes.
Yes.
Smoking and radiation.
Very good. Just remember those. Myopia, hyperopia. let's go back here. You remember I said that to see the things clearly, light should be focused where? Exactly on the retina. Very good. Now if the light is focused by this lens here, front of the retina, that is called myopia. So this is myopia. Myopia. And if the light is focused behind the retina, that is called what? Another condition, right? Hyperopia. So myopia, hyperopia. So in myopia, you have to push the light backwards. In hyperopia, you have to bring the light more forward to put or bring it back on the retina. Okay? Myopia is called nearsightedness. The person can see the near things clearly. That's why it is called nearsightedness. The person can do what? See the near things clearly. But problem is seeing the far. Okay? And hyperopia is farsightedness. The person can see the far things, distant things clearly, but cannot see the near things clearly. That's why it is called farsightedness. Can see the far things clearly. Astigmatism is another condition that happens due to uneven surface of the cornea or lens. So if the surface of the lens or cornea is not even, not smooth, its surface is irregular, uneven, that causes astigmatism. And you need more complex type of lens in that condition, yes.
What does like astigmatism do? Like if you have it, does it like affect you at all?
It can, the problem is visual problem. It's more like, it's not that simple like myopia or hyperopia. It's a little more complex, and when you are watching movie, you may complain some, other people are seeing 3D very clearly, but you are not seeing 3D, you are seeing same, kind of, no difference, those kind of things happen. So, those are three conditions, okay? Astigmatism can go away, as well as myopia can go away. Sometimes what happens, you see, this is the normal eye, and the lens is fine, focusing the light exactly on the retina, everything is fine. But when the kids suddenly grow, at puberty, the body grows fast, right? What can happen? The eyeball, soft tissue organ, eyeball, grows faster, but the bony orbit, the bony socket here, is not growing as fast as the eyeball. So what will happen? Your eyeball is trying to grow, right? But bony socket is not growing. So pressure will be created on the eyeball. Make sense? It is trying to grow. So that pressure will do what? If I press the eyeball like this, will make it longer. Make sense? Elongated. So that happens in young kids. That eyeball gets what? Longer. So now you see, your retina is here now, right? Retina is here. But your lens doesn't know that. Your lens will think that retina is here, right? And it will try to focus here. But actually your retina has moved backwards. Make sense? So that is myopia, because now the focus point is the front of the retina, because retina has moved backwards. Okay? So that is one reason that young kids at puberty, you will see they will complain that I am having problem. Okay? And they start to get glasses. And the body suddenly grows. Okay? So that is one reason of myopia. This is normal, you see. here, this eyeball got too long, so the lens will focus in previous location, but retina has moved backwards. So that will cause myopia. Okay? To fix that, you need concave lens. So write it down. To fix the myopia, you need what? Concave lens. That will move the focus point backwards. This is hyperopia. So you see the focus point is behind the retina. So you have to move it forward here. To do that, you need convex lens, round lens. Okay, so to fix two problems, you need two different types of lens. Makes sense. One will move backwards, one will move forward. The last thing, visual pathway. So now you already know which nerves takes the signal from the eyeball to the brain? No. Okay, now oculomotor helps in what? Oculomotor helps in what? Movement, right? Movement of the eyeball and taking the picture from the eyeball to the brain are two different things. Not same, right? Totally two different things. Movement of the eyeball is different than taking the picture from the eye retina to the brain. So you need to know that. So oculomotor, oculo means eye motor movement, right? That is for the muscle, controlling the movement of the contraction of the muscle. Which nerve, I asked, which nerve takes the signal from the retina to the brain? That's the optic nerve, right? Cranial nerve number what? 2. Okay, so that is the optic nerve. So you see, how many optic nerves you have? 2, right? Because you have 2 eyes. These are the optic nerves, and they join like this, cross. And that cross part is called the optic chiasma or chiasma. Optic chiasma or chiasma, where 2 optic nerves cross. Now, one thing very important happens here. You see, when the cross takes place, some fibers stay in the same side and some fibers go to the opposite side. So, some fibers stay in the same side and some fibers go to the other side of the brain. And now, after the optic chiasma, these fibers, ipsilateral and contralateral fibers, again bundle together to form the optic tracts. Make sense? So now if I ask you, in optic nerve, you see this is the eyeball, optic nerve comes out from the eyeball, right? Optic nerve comes out from the eyeball. So optic nerve has the fibers from one eye. Make sense? 2 optic nerves, one from this side, another from this side, right? So optic nerve has the fibers from one eye. Make sense? Now that in chiasma what happens, I said, some crossover and form optic tract. Now if I ask you, in optic tract, you have the fibers from same eye or both eyes? Both eyes, right? Because some from same, some coming from the other side, right? So because some crossover takes place. So that optic tract goes to the thalamus, which is the major sensory relay station. How many of you remember thalamus? Which is called what? Major sensory relay station. You have learned that when we talked about the brain. Thalamus, hypothalamus. Okay. So where the relay takes place. 3rd order neurons, remember? 1st order, 2nd order, 3rd order neurons. Thalamus. And then from the thalamus, signal goes to the all the way to the back of the occipital lobe, where you have the primary visual cortex, V1. So here you see optic nerves, optic chiasma, optic tracts, thalamus. Where is the thalamus? Lateral geniculate nucleus of thalamus. And then to the primary visual cortex in the occipital lobe. Okay? So that is the pathway. If I ask you what are the structures in the pathway, those are the structures. Okay. Optic nerves, optic chiasma, or chiasma, optic tracts, lateral geniculate nucleus of thalamus, and primary visual cortex. Okay. Visual depth perception. I did a lot of research on visual 3D. Okay, how your brain sees the things in 3D. Okay, so one important clue for the brain is your two eyes. If I ask you to close one eye and thread the needle, can you do that?
Yeah,
Can try.
It
It will
would
be
take
very difficult. Yeah, it will be very difficult with one eye. You won't be able to do it. If when two eyes are open, you can easily do it, right? So that tells you that for fine, depth perception, you need both eyes. Make sense? The distance of those two. If I ask you to put your fingers together with both eyes open, you can easily do that, right? So one eye closed, you will miss. Okay? So that is called binocular disparity. Binocular disparity. Your both eyes are needed for 3D perception. Clear? 3D perception. Okay. Look at this. If you close and open your right and left eyes like this, you'll see this is moving like this. That means your right eye sees in one location, left eye sees in slightly different locations. Make sense? It's like two cameras. This is one camera, this is another camera, your two eyes, okay? Now if you take picture of same thing with two different cameras from two different locations, slightly away, the picture will be slightly different, right? If you take picture from here or here, will be slightly different. And that information your brain needs to construct the 3D, okay? Very important. So that's called the binocular disparity, the difference between right and left eyes. Okay. I just told you this one because I did a lot of research on monkey brain to study 3D perception. It's a very interesting topic. Okay, let's stop here.